Okay, today's 6-1. This is video number 111, and I'm doing on this video assignment number 41. Since I think it's a little more efficient just to get the work out on the board and then go over it, I'm only doing the first two because the board's completely covered here. There's a little glare on the side, but I think we'll be able to overcome that. Okay, so here we go. And the first assignment is a repeat of one that I did on one of the earlier videos. You have a cylinder. You're asked to find the complete surface area, and you're given x minus 2, x plus 1. That's deliberately chosen so you can practice the perfect square trinomials that we were doing before, and the perfect square binomial that you're supposed to know about going into high school. So I wrote out the formula that you're supposed to know in 8th grade. There's the side, the label. There's the top and the bottom. You're supposed to understand that from 7th grade. So there it is written out carefully. And hopefully all the math is correct here. I do make mistakes. Let's go over it. And so you can follow what I did and see if you come up with the same thing. So as I look at this over here, this is filling in the data over here, just like we did when they were numbers. I think you recall that. And I filled in the data, and this becomes this. You're supposed to know that in high school, okay? And of course, this became that. And I didn't feel the need to FOIL because, like I said, one's a perfect square binomial, the other square is a perfect square trinomial, and you're supposed to just write these out in high school. Then I distribute it, and you can see left to right. Move it over a little bit more. I distribute, we got a little cramped here, but you can still read it. There's the first term, there's the second term, there's the third term, fourth term, everything written out correctly. And now the 8 pi and the minus 8 pi cancel because they're like terms. You're supposed to know about that. And I wrote out over here 4x pi squared minus 8 pi x, and then I factored out the common, what they share this expression, and we can do that really quickly. I'll do that over here in the corner so you can see what I'm talking about. And here we have 4 pi xx. On the other side, minus 2 times 4, because that equals 8. I'm trying to make the math easier for you. Pi x, the 4, the pi, and the x. The 4, the pi, and the x match. What's left over? Well, we have, let's see, oops, we're over here. What's left over? Well, an x and a minus 2, hold on here, an x and a minus 2, not 2 pi, because that would be pi r squared. So there, I fixed that up right there. That's the correct answer. 4x squared, we go back, minus 8 pi x. There was no pi here. That was a careless mistake. I make plenty of them, as you notice. And there we go, the correct answer. Okay. So now we turn our attention. So that's all done. There's the answer. If you like, I can box it off. X minus 2. We got everything off. And again, there's the factorization that I did. That's what we're doing now. Monomial, GCF factorization. And the circled parts are the parts that were left over. And there's the simplification, the complete answer is completely factored. They interchangeably use the word simplify, completely factor, and on. So now I'm going to go on to number 2 over here. And again, the task is to factor, simplify, like actually let's go in order here, the GCF, to factor, the LCM, and to check, which I did all that stuff. So I'll just erase this quickly, dry it off, And just for you kids who are struggling to factor these guys out, 6 is 2 times 3, and there are 4 x's here. Okay, so you see that I did this right over here. This is equivalent to this. Don't forget the negative sign. Okay, and there are 2 x's here. And like I said, I did it in my head, but you can always break it down like this. It always works. And there we go. There's the there's what we were able to match. I'll circle what we weren't able to match, and you can see clearly that you come up with this as your leftovers, so to speak. We've been using that name, and we can also draw our arrows and check, and we come back to the original if you care to look at it that way. So there's your GCF. You're supposed to understand that by now. I move over here. There's your factored form, which was the second part to do. The LCM, or the GCF, times the leftovers. When I do that, I get negative 18x to the 4th. And there's the check with the first term that gives me this guy here. And there's the check with the second term that gives me this guy here. And you guys, I'll just, whoops, there we go. Where it's written out carefully one more time. There's the check that gives me this guy here, the second guy. And there's the check, again, the LCM divided by the original terms that gives me the other guy. And that's what I taught you. And that's what I expect you to know. There's a little bit of glare here, but this is to the 4th and to the 4th. There we go. Now you can see it clearly as I block out the sun here. Okay? So I'm going to end this video right here and get right away working on, I'll mark this part 1. And I'll get right to work going on to part 2. So hopefully it's making sense what I'm doing here. And I'll stop this and post it for you.